So as if the adult entertainment industry didn't have enough to deal with in 2020, Instagram just released a new set of community guidelines that really affects how content creators are going to be able to share what they're selling, to even sell anything in the first place, and limits down everything from what kind of emojis you're using, to what's in your captions, to any kind of even implied eroticism or nudity, anything like that. So in this video, I want to walk through some tips that might help if you are planning to stay on the platform, and some things to think through on whether Instagram is going to be the place to grow your digital business, or whether there might be another avenue that's going to be a little bit more understanding and a little bit more accepting of our work and of the kind of content we're creating. So I think a great place to start with this is to just go check out these terms of service, and they're kind of hidden in Instagram's like terms of use. It's actually in the Facebook community guidelines, but we'll go ahead and link it below so you can read exactly what they are going to be looking out for. And there's 3 whole separate pages with information on every single kind of thing they're going to be looking for, but it basically boils down to if there's any kind of implied sensuality, sexuality connected with an offer, so something you're selling, something like link in bio or your OnlyFans link on your page, you're basically highly increasing the odds your account's going to get deleted. Now, is this fair? No. Is this fun? Absolutely not. Is it going to be a huge pain in the ass? Unfortunately, yes. And unfortunately, it's not the last or first time we've seen platforms do this, where they really grow because adult entertainers are on the platform, and then they start to deplatform the people who built it up in the first place. It's frustrating and it does suck, and I don't want to take away from that, but it is also important to think strategically through, what do we do next? Where do we go next? Right? And so I think a really good starting place here is, do you need Instagram in the first place? Because there are so many options right now where you can advertise, whether that's internally on the platform, right? So this could be like through Telegram, doing share for share, doing link drops. It could be Reddit, it could be Twitter, it could even be something like TikTok or even YouTube, right? There's tons of ways of growing on social media that aren't necessarily reliant on Instagram. And that's frustrating because Instagram is a huge platform, and obviously it can be a fantastic place to network and to connect with people. But if they're making it that difficult and your following isn't that huge there, right? It is a very saturated place. There's a ton of content. So you have to ask yourself, is the amount of time and effort I'm about to put into Instagram going to get me the results that I am looking for? Once you decide if you're going to be on the platform or not, it's a really good time to think through what the goal of being on the platform is, right? Because a lot of times we use our accounts both to network and to sell our content. And I think if you're going to be on one of these platforms long term, on a platform that's doing this kind of heavy censorship, it might be worth it to have 2 accounts, right? So if, for example, your work account gets deleted, you at least don't lose your professional contacts, you don't lose your networking, you don't lose your friends from that one club you used to work at 2 years down the road that you might want to check in with again, right? So having one account that's like, hey, this is my I'm selling content account, versus, hey, this is my networking account or this is my other business account, becomes even more important. And that's useful too, because it helps you sell a really clear message on each of your accounts, but especially with the censorship, you just don't want to lose your whole contact list if one account goes down. So that's sort of the big picture stuff. Now let's get into practical tips for keeping your account sort of out of the gaze of Instagram, right? Out of gaze of the censors and the people sort of watching for deletions. I think a great place to start is your username. Check your username and check your bio and check for anything that could potentially get your account deleted. This could be anything from terms like stripper, words like pole, anything that can imply that you are on OnlyFans or selling adult services. Just removing that and changing it to something that makes it harder to find. So for example, when I chose Rags to Riches, it's because that doesn't have stripper in the title, that doesn't have dancer in the title, it doesn't have anything that is directly going to connect what I'm doing into the industry. And that sucks because those are the people I want to reach out to, but it's sort of a game of reaching out sideways, right? So what kind of content can I create that is going to connect to the audience without directly referring to the audience? In the world of adult content, this might be something like, hey, I'm going to make a series of really beautiful pictures that are PG, right? Nothing is showing in the picture or video, nothing is suggestive, but maybe my facial expression or my attitude or my posing is something that is very alluring and is going to attract people to something else, right? Before all of these guidelines, that something else might have been onlyfans.com/your name, right? But now we know that that's not working and that a ton of people have had accounts deleted just for having their OnlyFans link. So an alternative can be something like Linktree, right? Where you have multiple different links. And if you build multiple links, I would really recommend not making one of the links like OnlyFans, okay? So if I click on your Linktree and it says OnlyFans right there, that gives the platform a pretty good reason to delete. Now, if it says something like see more or free content or get to know me, right? And that's the button they're clicking on, then it's taking away, it's just adding more layers between you and the offer that you're placing, right? That's frustrating because that's creating more steps for potential customers. But if you're playing the long game on these platforms and you're expecting people to follow you 2-3 years, people are gonna go through those steps over time. On that same note, think of your social media not just as one place where you're building, right? But think of diversifying. I know it's a pain because the more platforms, the more time and effort, but hey, it's better to do it now than to do it once everything gets deleted, right? So if the worst case scenario happens, your account gets deleted, hey, if you have 10% of your audience on your Twitter and then another 20% on your Reddit, and you have some folks that are subscribed to a YouTube, you now have a chance to at least start regaining your audience or to keep making offers to them in other places. If it's a business account, that really, really matters. A couple of other tips. I know that hashtags have been a way to get found and to get to start getting connected with other folks, and that can be really useful. But because of all these rule changes, I think using hashtags like hashtag stripper, hashtag OnlyFans, hashtag adult model, hashtag link in bio, like that is creating so much more risk than it's worth, right? Way more risk than reward just to get a few people to see a post when that hashtag is probably going to be like banned anyway. So a great alternative can be look for, again, you're looking for pathways to connect with your audience that aren't directly connecting those terms. An example might be yoga, fitness, summer bod. It might be bikini girl, right? Even that I'd be like a little, ooh, I don't know about bikini because that might be something that they're looking out for, right? So it might be like different travel locations, right? Even if you're not there right now, you can still say hashtag New Orleans, you can say hashtag Miami, where people are going to be looking for those as part of their travel. And even if you're not there, your caption can be dreaming of Miami. Who cares, right? You're just establishing some point of connection so more people will see your content. I also think be really careful with emojis, with small things. I know it seems very small, but that's how a lot of these account deletions are happening. And they're saying explicitly, we're looking for this, right? So it's just another point where you can be really careful and really aware. And finally, I know this is frustrating. I'm not trying to take away from that frustration at all. I think part of running a business long-term, part of developing your own self-employed business long-term, especially online, is look for the silver lining. Look for how this can help your business. I know that's not meant to help your business. I know that they are trying to shut down where we talk, how we talk, and what we share. But in my mind, the more time I spend just getting frustrated at them is less time that I have to work on my business and to figure out what to do next. So whether that looks like taking action by signing petitions or by attending organized events, right? Like there's been some boycotts happening this week. If that's something that calls out to you, engage in that. And most importantly, think through your long-term business, whether that means going to other platforms or it means getting a little more strategic with how you approach Instagram, or whether it means trying to sell more to people in person, thinking about old school marketing, etc. There are so many opportunities out there, and this sucks, but sex workers are so creative, we are so intelligent, and we're so driven. So I know that people are going to be coming up with really creative solutions to this problem, and you're going to have to come up with those as well if you're running a digital business. So if you do have some creative solutions for dealing with this, with these new community guidelines, please drop them below. I know a ton of us are looking for new ways to deal with this. If you like this kind of content, if you think, content about going digital or about the dancing industry, etc., is interesting, make sure you hit subscribe. And if this video was useful, please like it and just drop a comment or thumbs up up, just something that will help someone else access this information, because I know a lot of us are frustrated right now and are wondering what to do about our accounts. So if this helps someone avoid deletion, etc., that'll be super awesome. Awesome. Thanks for watching, and let me know your tips below.